My wife, the S-time worker. My ex and I met in college. She was the most beautiful girls I had ever seen. She always had a crowd of guys following her around. I had some classes with her over the 4 years, but I never pursued her because, well, all the other guys. One day after class, she asked if I would study with her, and the rest is history. So we married. Starting our careers in the same industry, different companies. A male-dominated industry. I found immediate success while she struggled. She changed jobs in the first year. She continued to struggle. In the third year, she became pregnant with our first son. She worked through the pregnancy. A few weeks after giving birth, in a routine physical, her doctor asked to do a biopsy of her cervix. The results came back as precancerous cells were found. The drive advised if we wanted more children to do it as quick as possible, as this will progress and a hysterectomy will be needed eventually. So when she was up to it, she became pregnant again. She gave birth again to a boy, within a year of each other. Afterward, more tests were done and different DRS advised to do the procedure now, as we should not wait. With 2 babies, still infants, she had her procedure done. She was heartbroken that she was done having children, as we had wanted a large family. She poured herself into being a great mother, and she is. She became a psalm. She took care of everything at home. Meanwhile, my career was moving along. I was offered a position with another company with a large salary bump. Life is good. When the boys went off to school, she volunteered at school and was a fixture there. I should mention that we had close friends we went to school with. A and B. We saw each other often. They started their family about the time we did. They have 1 son. The families went on vacations together, dinner, outings. We were best of friends. After the son was born, A, the mother, went back to work and is very successful. B had a good job also until about 2001, where his job was eliminated. He struggled to find work in his field, as the economy back then really affected his field. So the decision was he would be a sod while looking for work where we lived, as they did not want to move. The X and B did things together with kids. When the kids were all in school, they still hung out. You can now guess they had an affair. This story I know is long but not over. After about a year of this, hot time in the AM, B asked X if she and I had ever talked about a threesome. It was all fantasy talk with us, as we were still having a great, if not slowing down, time relationship. B had a friend he wanted to bring into the bedroom with them. The X agreed. The day came and this guy C came over to B's house. He took his suit off as X and B got warmed up. So they had their threesome. Afterward, the guy told them that he usually had to pay for time, so he left a couple $100 bills and asked X if he could have a 1-1 with X. She told him she needed to think about that and B would get back to him. Eventually, C recommended someone else and a business was born. Eventually, B was re-employed and had to leave X on her own. She used a different cell phone. She rented out a storage unit and made it her closet office. She used the money to buy outfits her clientele requested. She even bought a car. She did not want her minivan spotted at a hotel. The guys had to pay for a room at a nice hotel. She kept the car at the storage unit. Everything was in cash. She never brought the money into our lives that I know of. Though we would send the kids to different day camps during summer. She claimed she tightened up our budget to pay for it. She only worked during school hours. She always picked the boys up at school. On a few rare occasions, B would pick them up and keep them until she got home. Our home life never suffered. I admit I was working a ton and moving up the ladder. The weekends were our family time. Time was generally on the weekends. I thought because of my work life this worked best. Most nights we would cuddle on the couch watching TV. Almost done. 2016 comes along, we have 1 son in college, the other a senior in HS. I get a call from B. X is in the hospital. He was vague but said she is hurt bad. I rushed to the hospital. My wife is hooked to a bunch of machines. They have already cleaned her up and taken her for X-rays. She has a broken jaw, broken nose, fractured orbital bone, possible concussion. She will make it, but will be a long road ahead. A police officer was finishing up and left. I of course want to know what happened. She was crying, talking gibberish through her sobs and pain meds. A nurse said I should let her rest. They were moving her to a room soon. She handed me a bag with her clothes. I looked in and asked if these were hers because she never wears heels and the dress was unfamiliar. The nurse said this is what they brought from the hotel room. So they pushed me out of the room. I called my sons to let them know. Later that night, when the fog of the drugs were wearing off, I got some of the story. She drifted off again. I had my youngest son sit in with her and I called B. Why did he call me? How did he know before me? What's going on? So B came clean about what my wife was up to, leaving out the affair and his involvement. I was devastated. We eventually get her home after surgery on her jaw. The nose would wait. She convalesced at home. As she got stronger, I got the whole story. I called A and told of the affair and B as a pimp. She threw B out. As she got on her feet, I told her we were done. I asked her to move out. She moved in with B. I got the divorce rolling. I am sitting here 5 years divorced. I still love her. It is as if she had died. The grief is unbearable. My boys know what she did. I have not spoken to her since she left. Update: my wife is a S-time worker. I originally posted a few weeks ago. You can check my profile. I did not update as there really was not anything to say. Until last night. I received a call from my oldest son, R, who is out of town for the holiday weekend. A friend called him to tell him his brother, S, had been in a motorcycle accident. He was with him but did not see the accident as he was riding ahead. I rushed to the hospital ER. They were cleaning S and were sending him for X-rays. I was told to have a seat and the doctor would be out. A few minutes later, as I had my head leaning back and my eyes closed, I heard my name. I look up and my ex is standing in the doorway. She asked for news. I said I was waiting. She asked if she could sit with me. I invited her to a seat near me. I have not seen her in 5 years since the divorce happened. I did not know what to expect. I assumed that she would be disfigured from her beating. She was not, although her face was not as flawless as I remember. The one thing I did see was that her eyes no longer sparkled. This was a feature I never got enough of. Even with a mask on, her eyes did not look the same. Funny, what you notice? When she smiled, her face used to just light up. I imagine she just has a resting BTCH face now. Anyway, while waiting we had a nervous catching up talk. She mentioned she liked the landscaping I did and how the plants now matured really look nice. This tells me she has been by the house where I have no idea where she lives, and my sons were told never to mention her to me. During the and after the divorce, I tried to purge any remembrance of her. I replaced the bushes in the yard as it was something she had planned and planted. I did not mention that the inside of the house was redone also. I even ripped out a wall. I had a construction dumpster in the driveway for many months. She asked how I was doing. I don't know why, but I was honest that I had put myself at a standstill by working too much. However, I recently have been to a therapist and joined a gym. I also have taken up bike riding. She volunteered that she no longer just left it there unsaid. She stayed with B a couple months. She also was seeing a counselor who encouraged her to take some college courses in her degree field. That took a couple years. She is now employed full-time. She said she is dated minimally, leaving the statement open for me to answer. I figured the boys were keeping her up to date on me, so I had nothing to add. The drive appeared and discussed the extent of injuries. The most serious was to his foot and ankle pinned under the bike when it went down. They had scheduled him for surgery today. Everything is good, he just needs to heal and rehab. So he will be in until at least tomorrow, depending on his head injury, slight concussion. I offered my house to stay as I have the room and can work from home. We will finalize that today, although that means his mother will want to visit. That will be a healing process for me. Update 2. My wife is a S-time worker. My son is healing well. He still has a way to go. We have decided he will stay here while convalescing. He wants to go back to work next week. His boss is setting up something so he can work from home. I barely get him in the back seat of my SUV, as he has to stretch out. It would be a nightmare driving him to work and back every day. Everyone has been asking about the ex coming over. I leave when she comes. I go to the gym or a bike ride. My oldest son has tried to have a sit-down dinner with the four of us, but I shut it down. She has been very gracious. She has not tried to force anything. She comes over and sits with our son. She will cook dinner for them. She brings groceries when she does cook. Sometimes his friends come over and it gets a bit rowdy for me, but he forgets about his problem when there are visitors. To say we never talk would be untrue. Our conversations do not stray from our sons or their lives. Last update, my wife was a S-time worker. This will be my last update. My son is healing nicely, the doctor says. He has a ways to go with physical therapy. He is hobbling around. Still at my house. Working from home. I have returned to the office to give him some space. Now the ex has started what many of you have said. She is doing little things around the house. My son is not all that tidy. So she is cleaning after him, doing his dishes. She will make a meal for him and always leaves a plate for me. I tell my son, that can be his lunch the next day. She asked me the other night if I would be interested in going out to dinner tonight, as my son has some friends coming over. I told her no. A little later she mentioned us getting a meal just to clear the air. Again, I told her no. I finally said we ended long ago because of your actions. It took me a long time to get over what was lost. I do not intend to revisit a relationship with you. She said okay. She understood where we stand. I did say I did not have a problem with her coming over to visit our son until he gets back to his place. I thanked her for cleaning up, but it's not necessary. Thank you all for the encouragement and kind words, but I will make it through this. My heart has hardened. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, handling yourself like a boss. Congrats and good luck. Redditor 2, I'm not sure if I remember, but did she ever explain why she did you so dirty back then? Redditor 3, ho into housewife. I've been in a later with a S-time worker. But your story is one of betrayal. I knew who she was when we started dating. You found out after you were married. You can love someone for who they are if you know that person through and through. But you can't fix the trust she destroyed. Redditor 4, just clear the air. Just to clear the air. What could be going on in her head that she believes could be said that would just clear the air? Nope, the air around her is permanently polluted. It would be impossible to clear 'em, ho. As much as I would love to hear what's inside her head to justify, explain, apologize, grovel, whatever, I'm glad you didn't entertain it at all. Congrats for getting out of infidelity as decisively as you did. You're a great example of a good father-husband that maintains appropriate boundaries. Now get out there and find the woman that you deserve. Redditor 5, good job. You stood your ground, bro. The ex was trying to ease her way back. Not happening, and don't blame you for feeling like that. Your ex has to come to where she made her choice and not a mistake. Just keep focusing on you and your son. Keep your foot down and stand your ground. Redditor 6, you handled it like a boss. Your ex has really nowhere to go emotionally, and you are the closet body she would like to leech onto you. Your ex has something broken deep inside of her and you didn't know it at the time. Maybe she didn't until she cheated and then totally changed from the person you thought you knew. I think for your recovery after your son is out, please sell the house and have a fresh start. Plenty of life left in you and you deserve happiness. Also, please update on how you are doing. You bring encouragement to people who have suffered and can be an example that you can survive. Peace, friend.